fast. AMD. Budget. $350. If you are tired of wasting money on things that give you poor results, much like my wife, then today's video is going to be a blessing in disguise, where we have a $350 gaming PC that is going to play one of the latest free-to-play titles, World War III, at 1080p with what I'm hoping is good FPS. I haven't tested it out yet, but let's have a look at what parts we have in this PC right here. We're gonna be putting in the Ryzen 5 4500 with a B450 motherboard. Now the good thing is it comes with an included CPU cooler, and we got this combo for a shade over $100 in a recent parts hunt that we did. And I'll put the link to that video up here, where we also in that video picked up a used GTX 1080 for a little over $130. Now this graphics card and this CPU should pair very nicely for the money and give you a great balance of price and performance, but we've also got a budget power supply here, SSD, 1 terabyte. Then for the memory, we've got a 16 gigabyte kit of DDR4 memory. And then the absolute final component is a used case that we got, because I'm finding new cases are actually becoming quite expensive. So if you can find something that's clean on the used market, then it's really going to give you such good value for money. However, I'm going to put up a price tally of everything that we paid for this build up on the screen for you guys, as well as some links in the description below. So let's get on to building this thing, see if we come into any problems. And also we've got today's video sponsor too, which has a really good deal, especially if you're building a new PC. Never pay full price for Windows 10 or 11 again. With today's video sponsor, SCD Keys, you can get activated for as little as $15 using that coupon BFTYC. Links in the description below. So this PC is now looking like it's fully operational and is absolutely fine. However, there was a problem that we came into when building it, and that is the DDR4 memory. One of the sticks was actually faulty. Now, I'm gonna make a separate video on this, because this is the most common problem I come into especially when building a new PC. It's quite rare, but if it does happen, it can be a real pain, especially if you want to get up and start playing gaming the same day that you've got all the parts sitting there ready to be built. So unfortunately, this build did take a few more days to complete, because I had to send the faulty stick of memory back to Amazon, get the new kit in, and this new kit is now working absolutely fine. However, that said, we're in the BIOS, and we're going to go over now quickly to the tweaker here. This is on this BioStar UEFI BIOS utility. We're going to go over to tweaker and go down to the DRAM or the memory clock mode, and then click enter on the XMP profiles, and then hit F10 and save configuration and exit. And that's just going to tune our memory up so it's not sluggish and slow. So we booted up World War III here, and it looks like a game is ready to start. This is my first time playing this game, and it's running pretty well so far. It looks like it runs pretty well. I just picked the Assault class, and in terms of minimum requirements, this thing will look like it will run on a complete potato, but we've got more than the recommended specs here. And then when we booted up the game, it defaulted to the balance settings at 1080p, 100% screen resolution, though most of the settings are on high and ultra. So what we're doing right now is just testing for stuttering, seeing if the game is well optimized even with this hardware, and it's running pretty good. I mean, we've got a 30 FPS on the 0.1% lows, and then the average looks like it's well over 100, which is really good news, even though our GPU is being maxed out here. So game looks like it's pretty well optimized as well, with all those cores being utilized there in terms of percentages. So my first impressions of this game is the movement feels a lot like Battlefield, as well as the way the guns fire. But I think personally the bullet registration is a lot better in this than it is in Battlefield. I'm noticing like all the shots feel like they're going exactly where I want them to go. So if you like Battlefield, especially if you like skirmishes, then you are going to absolutely love this in terms of how this game plays. So I'm enjoying this game. I might have a few more rounds and see how we go. Next up here is Hogwarts Legacy, and when we booted this game up, it automatically defaulted to 1080p high settings, and we're getting close to 60 FPS at these settings, and it's quite enjoyable. It's playable. I'm actually surprised this system does so well in Hogwarts, given the fact that it's such a demanding title. But there it is, guys. It's actually running really smooth, and in this title we were also able to get a direct comparison because we've got a repeatable benchmark we can do. We can undervolt our CPU and GPU and look at why you guys, in my opinion, should be undervolting your gear, especially if you're on a budget. But we'll talk about that more after we test out the next title up here. So my favorite game at the moment on PC is Dota 2, and this at 1080p, highest settings, we're getting over 120 average FPS. This is with the latest game update as well. They recently overhauled Dota 2 big time, and this PC is just handling it absolutely fine. So I'm able to make some pretty cool plays with this system. So I'm very happy. Let's move over now to a conclusion. So we've just finished the gaming benchmark numbers, and this PC just could not impress any more for the money at $350. Now, in some of those gaming benchmark numbers, you may have seen the temperatures of the GPU going quite high, but in the World War III benchmarks, as well as the Hogwarts Legacy benchmarks, I did show up some numbers with not just the CPU at 4.1 gigahertz, but also the GPU running with a lot lower consumption for power, as well as having a lot lower temperatures. And so what I do to my systems, especially if I'm on a budget, is I undervolt them, because in this case, our CPU cooler, the Ryzen Wraith Stealth, that CPU cooler is not that good, but since we get it for free included with the CPU, we can undervolt our CPU and the temperatures will stay under 80 degrees at all times. And not only that, we'll be using less power from the wall. And when it comes to the GPU, it's the same thing. We get a program called MSI Afterburner. We then drop down the maximum core clock as well as the maximum voltage that core clock can run at, and we get drastically lower temperatures and power consumption. For instance, in Unigine Heaven as well as Hogwarts Legacy, the power consumption of this whole system went down from around 250 watts to about 180 watts. So we're dropping the power consumption down significantly, over 33%, and most of that's on the GPU, and that's giving us a lot lower temperatures. And that's going to help in the long run, not only to save us money on our power bill, but also keep our components running for as long as possible. So the advantages of undervolting are there. I am a big advocate here at Tech Yes City for undervolting, and the best thing of all this is we did the benchmarks before and after undervolting, and the FPS was virtually the same. So you're not going to notice a difference in your FPS numbers, but you are going to notice a difference in your temperatures, in your noise, and your power consumption. So undervolting, absolutely love it. But in terms of the Ryzen 5 4500, this CPU is more than enough. I've been hearing such negative things about this thing online, and I thought I'd get it for myself because its price tag is so affordable, and it goes in very nicely with an inexpensive B450 motherboard and the 16 gigabytes of 3200 megahertz memory that works fine with XMP profiles out of the box. And then you get the cooler included, and I just think there's nothing to hate about this CPU. It's an incredibly good CPU for the money, and the FPS numbers, if we look at Dota 2, over 120 average FPS at maximum settings at 1080p with the latest update where they've made the map bigger and things are definitely more intense than they were before. It's giving us decent 0.1% lows too. And then of course, World War 3, those average FPS numbers as well as 0.1% lows, they were fine. Hogwarts Legacy, we were getting high settings, 1080p. This was 60 average FPS. So, I mean, sure, we can go out and get a Ryzen 5 5500 or a 5600, but you've just got to ask yourself, am I building this system for now and I want to have a good experience now and save as much money as possible, or am I building my system for the future? And though if you want to get the better CPU now, you'll be spending more money, but my biggest question there is, and this is something that I ask myself all the time, is would that money saved now be better spent in the future? And the answer is usually yes. You're going to get better deals on hardware as technology progresses. So spend as little as possible now, and when you're ready to upgrade, just sell this whole system to someone who wants to play less demanding titles, then use that money as well as the money you save now to get the better system components in the future. But with that said, I also decided to test out Fortnite quickly because I know this is an extremely popular title. It's got the Unreal Engine 5 support coming in now, and here is where we got a really good average FPS. Yet again, we were playing at 1080p high settings of a custom blend of settings here. And this is where I did the benchmarks on multiplayer mode, and we got 122 average FPS and a 1% low of 70 and then 0.1% low of around 20. So it did do extremely well at 1080p high settings in Fortnite. And so that was with a very high view distance, and when I was in battles, I had no problems getting frags. So really impressed with this system all round. If you want to play the latest titles now, even like Hogwarts, you can do so at 1080p with this system. And of course, 1080p monitors are going to be where extremely good deals are at for the monitors too. Anyway, guys, with all that out of the way, if you enjoyed today's budget tech yes gaming PC, be sure to hit that like button and also let us know in the comment section below. Would there be some things you would change personally? Would there be some different kind of deals that you've put together recently that you would prefer over this? Or are you just straight digging the tech yes value for money build in today's video? Love reading your thoughts and opinions, just like this question of the day here, which comes from Just Reality 4054. And they ask, why no 1440p? Low is dumb, ultra is dumb. So to answer this question directly, they're talking about the VRAM comparison video we did recently on the channel, where we just looked at the different ends of the spectrum, worst case scenario being 4K ultra settings with the RTX 4090 and 7900 XTX. What we found there was some really high VRAM consumption numbers on some games, Hogwarts included. Then we just looked at the easiest case scenario on some of these games at 1080p lower settings, just to see what your minimum requirements would be for VRAM. Though don't worry, in terms of 1440p, we're going to include some of those numbers in future comparisons. Just hold on. In the meantime, you can use a little thing called your imagination. You know that the numbers are going to lie somewhere in between 1080p and 4K, closer to the 1080p side. Though that little thing called imagination, I do not know where it is nowadays. It's gone. It's in a bento box. Bento is like the Japanese word for a lunch box. It's been locked inside there. And I'm gonna go eat a bento box now and unlock the secrets of 1440p. And with that aside, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, then be sure to hit that like button and also hit that sub button and ring the bell if you wanna get the content as soon as it drops. And I'll catch you in another tech video very soon. Peace out for now. Bye.